said it before. The president could have been more precise in that one specific answer in the press conference. But clearly the president knew that there was information. We've said that there was. This information was out there, but we didn't know the specific. He did not know the specifics of it in terms of all the details and all the different checking that had gone forward.
So are you saying that from August, when the president was tipped off by McConnell, until last week...
Tipped off?
He was
Come
tipped
on.
off. No.
Ed.
Until he was tipped off to the fact that the assessment may be changing. In your own words, you said he was told of that.
Sure.
He wasn't told all the details. So from August till last week, the president never asked Director McConnell, hey, how's that going? Are we getting any more on Iran? He never asked him.
I'm not saying that, but
well, so he did
I don't know exactly what the president asked in the presidential daily brief. Look, Ed, this is what happened.
Being curious and asking, hey, you know, is there a new assessment? I'm out there talking about World War III.
No. Let me clarify that one more time. The president said, if you want to avoid World War III.
What day was the president actually briefed on the NIE? Well, because...
When one thinks of an American president, strength, leadership, and patriotism may be qualities that come to mind. This image of the president, the presidency, the highest office in our nation, did not materialize in our heads on its own, though. Presidential image and the creation of memorable presidential moments of greatness can be attributed to the image makers in the White House Office of Communications and Press Office. The framing, shaping, and even contorting of messages are the work of communications masterminds who are tasked with one simple duty: protecting their president. This means protecting him from critics, from bad press, and from whatever else might threaten his policy's success. Here are some of the people responsible for creating and shaping this message. Every day, the White House Office of Communications must act as the president's advocate, defender, and publicity coordinator. Through each position, staff members strive to release only the news they want to focus on, only in their terms. Offensive tactics join with defensive tactics. The interests of the audience, and above all, the president, are taken into consideration, and all angles of message presentation are manipulated to produce positive results. What speech is the president giving? Who is his audience? How do his policies fit into the larger message of his presidency? These are the questions communications officials must answer. A separate yet nonetheless vital portion of the White House is the press office, which is tasked with the never-easy job of establishing a beneficial relationship with the news media. Through press conferences, briefings, and the daily news gaggle, press secretaries are responsible for building trust with the press corps, establishing credibility, and, if necessary, taking blows for the president on controversial topics. For both real-life presidents and their fictional counterparts, communications is among the most important elements to their success, and oftentimes, to do well in the political arena, government officials must spin their way out of trouble, meaning they must creatively alter their stories and messages in order to gain power over their opponent. While overt spinning is negatively viewed as flat-out lying, shaping, on the other hand, is necessary to keep press, public, and policy matters under control. NBC's The West Wing serves as a prime source of examples of a communication staff at work, striving to coordinate their president's message, image, and politics to ultimately succeed. In a crisis, wording, appearances, and facts can all be easily muddled into a mess of he said, she said, misinformation, and confusion. In order to deal with this scenario, press officials, such as West Wing Press Secretary C.J. Craig, must go through many levels of clarifying the problem and working to prevent its escalation. Facts must be straightened out, stories must be rehearsed, and the press must be appeased.
You want to put out a joint statement?
Because when everyone in the briefing room has that Hoynes article, I'm going to be getting bombarded about what Hoynes says you and the president said, and I've got to be sure, word for word sure, about what all three of you said and what you didn't say. I can control this story, Leo. I can get us through this, but only if you tell me everything I need to know.
You got it.
I should only talk to the press about this once. I don't want to have to go back out there a second time saying, oh yeah, Hoynes was right about this bit and that bit that you guys forgot to tell me.
I understand.
We got to get our story straight on this today. So.
I don't remember the exact words I used. Weather. I think you said we could weather this.
How is that different from Beat the Rap?
It's completely different.
It's not different enough for me to go out there and fight about it. Did you tell him he shouldn't have used White House phones?
No. I said, didn't you know the White House keeps records of phone calls?
Oh, great. That's completely different. Did you tell him we could say this is a right-wing conspiracy against the White House?
Absolutely not.
Did you tell him he could deny the whole thing?
I asked him if he was in a position to deny it.
Okay, couple more things. He says you pressed him for details and he said it's none of your business?
Yes.
Leo, did you say the woman was a cheap whore, and did you suggest she had other customers?
No, I said she was a cheap person because she sold her story. What kind of person does something like that?
And Mr. President, did you say we've got to start attacking her tonight, right now?
No.
Anything like that?
I think I said something like, if we're going to get him through this, we're going to have to start right now. And I said, since she sold her story, she's not going to have a lot of credibility.
Anything else about the woman?
Nothing.
You sure?
Yeah.
I'm done. The president has no intention of starting a worldwide bra war. I really don't think the president would ever want to start a war that the French might actually win.
CJ, can you confirm or deny the statements former Vice President Hoynes has attributed to President Bartlett and Leo McGarry?
Mark, the
Specifically,
president...
did they tell him he could beat the rap and they would help him do it?
Okay, everyone get this down because I'm only going to say this once. The president and Mr. McGarry feel they have not been accurately quoted, but they
Did they
refused
deny the
to...
conversation
Hold on,
took place?
Mark. They refused to comment on any part of the conversation they had with the vice president just prior to his resignation. They believed they were providing advice and support to a friend who came to them with a very serious personal problem that was going to affect his work and his family. They believed that conversation was private, and as far as they're concerned, it still is.
As two parties that both have a vested interest and stake in the political news cycle, the press office and reporters must develop a mutually beneficial relationship. This means knowing who to ask for a tip, how to negotiate with journalists for a favor, and staying informed to be ready for any question or potential sparring match in the briefing room. CJ displays a congenial demeanor during her briefings, which allows her to build trusting relationships with her press corps, though she also knows when it's time to get serious and stick to the pressing matter at hand. Real-life Press Secretary Jay Carney, on the contrary, often has issues in his briefings with remaining polite and knowledgeable to adequately and respectfully inform the press corps.
Bruce, I've got a source at the Pentagon who says in the last few hours there's been massive troop movement on the Kashmir border.
In the last few hours?
Yeah.
I think you need to get a new source at the Pentagon, Bruce.
There's nothing to it?
I think someone's having a little fun with you, Bruce.
Well, we've got ourselves a ball game.
Sir,
Hi, CJ.
What's going on?
India sent troops into the neutral zone in Kashmir.
That's what you all were talking about when I walked into the Oval Office?
I'm sorry, CJ.
You told me the lid was on.
You're gonna have to expect that sometimes.
I got the question, Leo.
I wasn't ready for the press yet.
Could have told me that before sending me in there.
CJ?
I flatly denied it. I said I was in the Oval Office 10 minutes ago and nothing's going on.
They don't think you lied to them.
I know that. They think you lied to me, which is what happened. They don't know me. I'm from nowhere. I was just starting to get credible.
Nice.
The president would appreciate it if you didn't pursue this story. And to show his gratitude, he can give you 30 minutes on any subject or subjects you like.
Oh, that sounds good. But it's not enough.
What else?
I'd like you to sing a song for me.
Danny,
Little song.
will you take it?
Yes.
Thank you.
CJ,
Yeah,
anybody gets fired over this, I'm gonna write about why.
understood.
I mean, Ed, you know, the speaker walked away from this deal.
Right, but you
Okay.
think it's a great deal, so put it out there. Let the American people see
I
the
think I've
judge.
answered the question.
Okay,
So-
one quick thing.
I mean,
You
I know
said-
you're
you said-
creating a thing here for
You
Fox,
said a
but
minute
the-
ago, that's not what I'm doing, and you know better than that. You said a minute ago to Brianna, I think,
Ed,
that the Reed bill
You're,
goes dollar
somebody
for-
from Fox sat in a room
Yeah.
with senior White House officials and got more detail on the president's proposal and what was agreed upon between the president and Speaker of the House than you could name me now is in any of the proposals put forward by House Republicans, and you know it, okay?
When disaster strikes, the White House communications team begins planning a strike of its own, though it must step carefully around sensitive issues such as tragedy and loss. It must paint an image of a president who is strong and committed to leading his fellow Americans through the darkness to a new stage of light. However, he must do so without looking like he is fishing for high ratings or personal praise. In the wake of tragedy, communications teams must get the wording right. People are shocked, confused, and frightened. Therefore, the president must provide a source of inspiration and comfort. Interestingly, this can be seen in both President Obama and the West Wing's President Bartlett, who each faced responding to very similar situations involving unnecessary acts of violence. Both presidents, in their own way, find a manner in which to let the American people know that everything will be okay, and each exhibit some of the best work a communications office can do, bringing hope, courage, and strength to a people without even the slightest consideration of political spin tactics.
Is the president going to Oklahoma?
I don't want him to be in the way.
Getting his picture taken with a family who just lost their house might play like he's trying to raise his numbers.
Or getting his picture taken with a family who just lost their house might make other people feel like the president gives a damn. Photo ops aren't cynical. They give people hope.
Site visits shouldn't be about politics. It's about hope. And photo ops. Photo ops are hope.
Ow. Claudia Jean, did you just pinch Toby?
I'm sorry, sir. It was a professional dispute.
About what? She thinks you should go. Really?
Yes, sir. We need this presidential moment. Let's not give it away to Russell. I think you should go, not because of how it looks, because of what it is. But I seem to be the only one.
Then you can sit next to me on the plane.
I believe that we can be better. Those who died here, those who saved lives here, they help me believe. We may not be able to stop all evil in the world, but I know that how we treat one another, that's entirely up to us. And I believe that for all our imperfections, we are full of decency and goodness, and that the forces that divide us are not as strong as those that unite us. I want to live up to her expectations. I want our democracy to be as good as Christina imagined it. I want America to be as good as she imagined it. All of us, we should do everything we can do to make sure this country lives up to our children's expectations.
Peace in a time of global conflict, sustaining hope in this winter of anxiety and fear. More than any time in recent history, America's destiny is not of our own choosing. We did not seek, nor did we provoke an assault on our freedoms and our way of life. We did not expect, nor did we invite, a confrontation with evil. Yet the true measure of a people's strength is how they rise to master that moment when it does arrive. 44 people were killed a couple of hours ago at Kennesaw State University. 3 swimmers from the men's team were killed and 2 others are in critical condition when, after having heard the explosion from their practice facility, they ran into the fire to help get people out. Ran into the fire. The streets of heaven are too crowded with angels tonight. There are students and our teachers and our parents and our friends. The streets of heaven are too crowded with angels. But every time we think we've measured our capacity to meet a challenge, we look up and we're reminded that that capacity may well be limitless. This is a time for American heroes. We will do what is hard. We will achieve what is great. This is a time for American heroes, and we reach for the stars. God bless their memory. God bless you. And God bless the United States of America.